Throughout halls of a Four Seasons lost. In Austin, I saw pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Roll dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal shaded lids, holding reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving that radiant grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose.
Paradise. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark. We came on early today because of the breaking news with Russell Wilson possibly going to the Broncos for a lot of first-round pick or for a lot of picks, which, of course, the Broncos have. No need of picks. They need to find a quarterback, and let's face it, the quarterback draft is not going to be good until next year when Bryce Young's coming out, Caleb Williams is coming out. So anyway, that's going to be next year's draft. So, but this is all contingent on whether Russell decides to do it or not. And why would you stay in Seattle? I mean, you and Pete Carroll have not really been getting along. You've had issues for a while, ever since, for whatever reason, Seattle decided to go take a look at Josh Allen. I mean, you got a Super Bowl winning quarterback and you're going to go look at another guy. The difference between Green Bay and Seattle was Green Bay went looking for a quarterback simply because Aaron Rodgers was kind of trending down a little bit. Now, obviously, that reinvigorated him because he's a back-to-back MVP since they did that. But Russell and their relationship has gone south because Pete Carroll really wants to run the football. He does not want to pass the football. Russell wants to throw the football. Look, he's got DK Metcalf. He's got Lockett. I mean, who's not going to want to throw the football to those guys? So there's a lot of discord and a lot of issues there with them. So why would Russell want to stay? On top of that, Paul Allen's sister is running the team, and how long does she really want to keep the Seahawks? She's really not interested in that. So we're going to see like that. Hopefully that doesn't come to the Thunder because of Aubrey dying, and then Clay Bennett, of course, being, not going through some issues with his health at the moment. But so we hope the Thunder doesn't come through that because this is a great thing for our city. Unlike Seattle, we don't have baseball. We don't have possibly another NBA team coming. We just have this, and that's it. So hopefully we'll get that issue fixed. But anyway, my boy Jose Fierro will be very, very happy. In fact, I should have had your sweatshirt on, Jose. I'm sorry about that. I should have had your your shirt on. I apologize. Since we are talking about your beloved Broncos, I bet you that he's going to sign. I bet you've already bought tickets for some games for next year because we know you at least go to one or two games a year there in Denver, which is also one of my favorite cities as well to visit and to hang out in, and great restaurants and some great places to hang out. I don't really watch the Rockies play. We're not interested in that. But I find it very interesting that he's even thinking about it. I mean, I would want the hell out of there. I know they're going to pay you the money. They've got plenty of salary cap space. You're not really losing anything. Now, the downside is, do you want to go in a conference with Mahomes? Do you want to go in a conference with Herbert? Do you want to go in a conference with Carr? Do you want to do that? Like we talked about with Drew yesterday of HuskerDrewPicks.com, Drew Henthorn. Is that something that Aaron Rodgers really wanted to do? Is that something that really anybody wants to do? Because remember, 3-3 and that's probably 3 losses that you're going to look at, maybe 4 that you're going to look at between those teams. So is that a conference that you really want to go in? How well can you really succeed in that conference? In that, not conference, but in that division. I mean, that's one of the best divisions in football. Not to mention, you've got the Rams and the 49ers, and you had the Seahawks, and you had the Cardinals in the NFC West. So the AFC West, NFC West clearly are the two toughest conferences in football to get through to make it all the way through. So, but for me, there's nothing but upside. You've got a good running back, you've got a good O line, you got a nice left tackle, you've got good defensive pieces. Von Miller's trying to come back, or they want Von Miller back, whether he'll do that or not. I mean, let's say Denver versus LA, the beach versus snow and cold, and you do have the mountains. But LA, there's mountains too. So what would you do? I know I just stay where it's warm, and I just won a Super Bowl, even though I just won a Super Bowl a few years ago back in Denver. Why would I want to leave there? Well, I want to go back to cold. But then that's also the team that paid him the most money. That is his home right now, so there are benefits to that. But for me, if I have a choice between staying warm all the time, being in LA all the time, enjoying myself on the beach whenever I wanted to go, or my kids or whatever, why would I not want to do that? But of course, that's not my decision. And of course, I love warmth over cold any day. But that's just me. Now, let's go to Aaron Rodgers. The difference between him and Russell is very simple. Aaron has a better chance of getting back to the NFC Championship game than Russell does in Seattle. Aaron has a better team around him than Seattle does. Aaron plays in Green Bay, which supposedly used to be one of the greatest home court advantages in football. Clearly, it's not anymore since he's lost 3 straight playoff games there, and he's 7-9 in his career. The last 16 games or whatever it is. So, what's the difference with that? Like I said, the chances. So if Russell wants to win another Super Bowl to cement his legacy, which I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, or definitely right there on the edge. But I think, you win a Super Bowl 2, you pretty much get in, because we look at Eli Manning. Do we look at him as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? No, not really. But he's got 2 Super Bowls, and not quite arguably 2 of the greatest comebacks and 2 of the greatest throws ever in the history of Super Bowls. So he does have that. So when you look at Russell has a chance to go make it to the Super Bowl with this Denver Broncos team. But like I said, you've got Mahomes, you've got Herbert, you've got Carr. Then on the other side of that, you've got Josh Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Joe Burrow. You got all of those guys to go through. Now Denver, like I said, does have the defense to do that. Whereas Aaron on the other side, who do you have to go through? You have nobody really in the Central. I mean, you run that division. We're interested to see what Chicago's going to do. Justin Fields, what are they going to add to him to help him? But they're strapped by the salary cap as well. So what are they going to do to get him more players to help him make him? Because let's face it, his offensive line is terrible. But on that being said, that gives Aaron a much clearer path to get to the NFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl, because really he has 2 challenges, and they're going 3 challenges, and they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and that's the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Rams, because they're all in the same division. So they've got to see each other twice, so they're going to beat the crap out of each other. So you do have easier chance to get there. Whereas Russell, he's got all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure Aaron looked at that. I'm sure he looked at that the AFC and went, oh, whoa, what do I have to go through? And the main guy you got to worry about is Patrick Mahomes, because he's at the top of the heap of all the quarterbacks. He is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There's no question. And then you got to look at Aaron. What did he want? To stay in Green Bay. Oh, I just want you guys to take care of my guy, Devontae Adams. That's what I want. I don't want to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. What? Say what? So your woke culture and all that, huh? They must have woke up and gave you money, huh? $153 million guaranteed. 4 years, $50 million a year, $200 million. These guys crack me up with all this political BS. It is nothing but BS. All he was doing was manipulating the situation. Go on Pat McAfee's show just saying whatever in order to get what he wanted, which was to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. or highest paid right now. Because let's face it, Patrick Mahomes is highest paid in history because he's getting $500 million. Is what he signed for. So when you look at that, you're like, what in the hell are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? You have everything you need. You have management. You have a say in what goes on with them. You don't really have an owner. You have a very good team. You play in a weak conference. All those are your advantages. On the other side of that, Russell Wilson, why would you stay in Seattle? You have an acrimonious relationship with the coach. You have a decent team, but you're in the West with the Cardinals, with the Rams, with the 49ers. I don't see it. But then does it get better going to the AFC West? Sure it does, because you're an excellent quarterback. You have a very good team around you. Yes, you are in the West, but you still, if you stay where you're at, you still got to face Matt Stafford and whoever else the 49ers are going to come up with, which supposedly Tom Brady's trying to get there, which that's just cracking me up. All these people talk that trash about Kevin Durant chasing rings. Well, Tom Brady, if you're the GOAT, why do you have to go to a team that's stacked? You went from New England to a stacked Tampa Bay team, and then when that didn't work out for you the second year, you wanted out. Now you want to go to a stacked San Francisco team. Really? The GOAT, whatever. Anyway, I look at this and I'm just going, what a craziness of today. What a crazy situation. But I love it because I'd love to see Russell Wilson in a chance to go to another Super Bowl, A. B, I'd like for him to be in a competitive thing, a situation which he doesn't care because he's already used to that. You know, he had to go against Garoppolo. He had to go against Kyler Murray. He had to go against, like this year, Matt Stafford, but before that, Jared Goff, which is, whatever. But at the same time, when you look at it, it's right there ripe. I mean, Denver gave Kansas City all they wanted without a quarterback. So you're in a good situation. And, this gives you a chance, like I said, to cement his legacy as far as a quarterback is concerned, as far as his Hall of Fame credentials, if he can take this team through the Super Bowl. But like I said, you got to go through Kansas City. You got to go through San Diego. You got to go through the Raiders. You got to go through Buffalo. You got to go through Cincinnati. And you got to go through Lamar and the Ravens. And let's face it, Lamar was hurt last year. He hears all this crap. He was on the shop the other day talking about, black quarterbacks and, how there's a stigma against them. Not like it used to be, because like it used to be, there were no black quarterbacks. Warren Moon was one of the best quarterbacks coming out of college and couldn't catch him. They said they wanted to put him in a different position. Just like you, Lamar. You in the Heisman, they're asking you what other positions can you play. Now, back in the day, you'd have had to go play a different position, or you would have had to go to the Canadian Football League, which is what Warren Moon did. So is it different? Yes and no. It's different in the fact that you've got Russell, you've got Mahomes, and you've got yourself, and you've got Justin Fields. So you do have other black quarterbacks, but the question is, are you athletic and can you finish with your arm when you can't run? That's what they're saying. And let's face it, you are athletic as hell. You're one of the most gifted running quarterbacks ever. And you have to work on your mechanics throwing. And if you want to shut them up, you shut them up by using your arm. Because can Patrick Mahomes run? Sure he can, but he throws first. Can Russell Wilson run? Sure he can, but what does he do? He throws first. Can Kyler Murray run? Sure he can, but what does he do? Throw the ball first. So work on throwing the ball first. Cam Newton's career was cut short. Why? Because he wasn't very accurate with the football, and he had to run the football a lot. So if you want to go there about that being an issue, that is an issue, but at the same time, hey, there's some truth in there. So change the narrative of it. And I think a lot of young black quarterbacks are doing that coming up. They're throw first, run second. They want to be in the pocket throwing the football. But then they have the athleticism and the legs that they need to give up or pick up some yards. They do. You look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen's basically a black quarterback in a white skin. Same thing. He's big, strong, and he can run. He's a more accurate Cam Newton is what he is. If you ask me, he throws a beautiful ball. He's got a strong arm like Mahomes. But he uses his legs, and he's 6'6", just like Cam was, and he'd run over you. So change the narrative. I don't want to hear all that nonsense. Change the narrative of the thing. If you don't like it, if that's what you think, sure, then go change that. But there are guys who are coming up, the kids today, they aren't running first, they're throwing first. Because that's what you have to do. You look at Bryce Young, what does he do? Throws the ball first. You look at Caleb, tries to me, he stayed in the pocket way too much, you should have ran more. But changing the narrative. Everybody understands what's happening. But with you, it's more prevalent because you really can't throw, Lamar. You look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't really throw the ball. Doesn't run the ball. He can. Now, let's face it. A few years ago, he should have ran the ball in the end zone and try to be an out cute and throw a zip pass between everybody. And then what does his coach do? Kick a field goal instead of keeping the ball in his hands on fourth down. Granted, that's what should have happened against Tampa Bay. So, to me, change the narrative. And I love Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson is a throw-first guy. Now, can he run? Yeah, he can run. But he gets down. Baseball player. Kyler Murray, baseball player. Patrick Mahomes, baseball player. What do? They get down. They throw at different arm angles. They get down, though. They don't take hits. You very rarely ever see them get hit. So when I look at this, that's my take on that, quite frankly. And I get back to Aaron Rodgers. He throws first. Can he run? Yeah. Should he run more? Oh, I agree 100 he should. But Aaron, what was he looking for? This payday, 4 years, $200 million, 153 guaranteed. What is Russell Wilson looking for? A chance to get to a Super Bowl again? To be on a more competitive team all the way around? That's not what he has in Seattle. He knows that. Is he going to have that in Denver? Yes. Is the gauntlet harder to go through to get to the Super Bowl? Oh, 100% harder. Because there you only have 3-4 teams to go through. This one you have, 6 or 7? And who knows what the Steelers are going to do because they're a quarterback away as well. Which I'm surprised he didn't, but the Steelers don't have the capital, nor do they have the draft or the cap space, draft picks, in order to get the deal done. Because Seattle, let's face it, they're in rebuilding mode clearly, so they need draft picks. So what a great situation for everybody. Now, let's come on to the NBA because the Thunder are playing tonight against the Bucks. So that ought to be interesting tonight to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to watching the Thunder game and see what all they're going to do. The question is Giannis going to play? Because we got to have Roby back. We need Favors back because if we don't have either one of them and we have Sarge trying to guard Giannis, this is going to be ugly. But on the other side of that, who's going to guard Middleton? Wiggins, I think he can deal with Middleton. But what happens when he's out? You got Krejci guard Middleton? You serious? Lindy Waters trying to guard him? Are you crazy? We're in trouble if it comes down to that. But one thing the Thunder does do is they play hard. So whenever you're kind of overmatched with someone, what do? You have to play to your strengths. So we need the crowd to show up tonight. We need everybody to be there to give the guys some up, to lift them when they're down a little bit and give them some energy because they're going to need it. Because we win by committee, playing defense by committee. We have to score by committee. But SGA, fortunately, we have him, and he'll probably get another 30 points tonight. But we need somebody like Roby to go for 20, somebody else to go for 20 with that. Because 9-23 at home is a horrible record because we don't have anybody in the stands. Go to the games. Support our team. I'll be there. So anyway, we're looking hard at Embiid. They've won 5 in a row. They seem to have gotten the better of that trade, which everybody thought they would have. They would. Because let's face it, the Nets without Kyrie, with Kevin by himself, doesn't really get the job done, but it has to. I don't know how it's going to do any different. He needs some help. And on the road, they're fine because they do have Kyrie, but at home they don't. And then who knows when Ben Simmons is going to come back. Whenever that is, who knows? They're going to need him. So then my Lakers, I'm just done with them. I don't even know what to say. LeBron didn't play because of knee soreness because he had, 56 the other night. I guess his knees, he couldn't take it. And that was it. So, but anyway, I'm done talking that. I'm off my soapbox. I'm going to talk about my boy Husker Drew, HuskerDrewPicks.com. He had Pitt +2, Clemson -5, Georgia Tech +2, the Nets -3, the Thunder 234. Can't spell Thunder without under. 234, the Warriors -6, and Gonzaga -12. Those are his picks for my boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. So anyway, I just want to come out and break that news today about Russell Wilson possibly going to the Broncos. I don't see any reason why he's not going to say yes. So I'm going to hear from my boy Jose Fierro about that, I'm sure. Like I said, bro, sorry I didn't wear your hoodie. Should have wore my hoodie. Should have wore your hoodie today since we're talking about your beloved Broncos. But I may do it tonight. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Hope everybody's safe out there. Stay warm. Thank you for watching the Unpopular Hour. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Peace out.